Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. If I could ask those that are behind me to sort of squeeze in a little bit closer. My name is Ken Wingate. I'm the chair of the South Carolina First Steps Board, and it's an honor to be gathered with such an august group of individuals today. I'm going to introduce some of the individuals behind me individually and others as a collective group. But this is to announce and to promote the kickoff of the profile of a Ready Kindergartner. This has been an endeavor that's been underway for quite some time in South Carolina, and it really is a red letter day, an exciting day in which we will be announcing the kickoff of the campaign about which you'll be hearing more very shortly. Just a rundown of the agenda very briefly. I will be in a few moments turning the microphone over to Mike Brennan, who represents today both TransformSC as well as we all know Mike very well, very active in South Carolina in both business and in community endeavors. He is the incoming chair starting in January of the State Board of Education. We also will be asking Cynthia Bennett, who is with the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce and is their Associate VP of Education, to be making some brief remarks following Mike Brennan. And then Bishop Herman Yost, a friend of mine going back decades, who is here today representing the South Carolina Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, and also is one of the bishops within LARCUM. And he will explain a little bit more about LARCUM. I also have then following Bishop Yost, Jennifer McConnell, who is one of the board members of South Carolina First Steps. And she wears so many hats, I could hardly describe all that Jennifer does. She is a board member of First Steps. She is a church member here at Brooklyn, and she is an educator in her own right. And she will also have some remarks about this special day. Then I'll turn the mic after Jennifer to none other than Susan DeVinny, who needs no introduction with this crowd. Susan is the Executive Director of South Carolina First Steps and has been a driver in the development of this definition of school readiness, along with all of the staff and the board of South Carolina First Steps. I also want to give particular recognition to Craig King. Craig, where are you? In the back there. Thank you for being here. Craig is with here today representing Palmetto State Teachers Association, and also Reverend Susan Heath. Susan, thank you for being here. She also coordinator of LARCUM's Public Education Initiative. And then we also have with me other members of the South Carolina First Steps Board of Trustees. What's interesting and important about this day is that this definition of school readiness not only has been long in development, but now is being endorsed and promoted by the collection of individuals and groups that you see represented here behind me today. This public endorsement also has received affirmation from the South Carolina chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics, of Pediatrics, and we will be seeking other endorsers within the broader private and public education communities across South Carolina. The thing I want us to realize in the significance of this is that South Carolina has long had a profile of a Ready graduate. In a moment, Mike Brennan will address that. But to have a Ready graduate, we need to go back to the beginning of that individual's learning experience. And so the bookend or the beginning point to match the definition of a Ready graduate is now being encapsulated in this definition of school readiness and the profile of a Ready Kindergartner. Students who graduate must be not only college ready and career ready, but citizenship ready. And to get there, there must be foundations in that boy or girl's life which far transcend what simply happens in the classroom. Every step of the way, there is the need for a holistic support for the readiness of this boy or girl to be able to learn, to be equipped to go into kindergarten. We've heard the fact many times that an individual from a low-income, single-family environment, by the time he or she reaches age 3, has, compared to a child from a two-parent, middle-income family, has heard, spoken, or read to the child 30 million fewer words in just a span of 3 years. That lack of brain development, of hearing and speech development, of recognition of words, colors, letters, and the like, social skills developed in the course of those interactions in the formative first 3 years, are deficits that then almost can never be made up. They can be made up, but with extraordinary effort and outlay of resources. And so developing a strategy for enunciating, communicating, and encouraging involvement by families and communities, as well as the education apparatus itself in early childhood development, is what this assembled group represents today. That lack of, by age 3, having been read to and spoken to, leads to, by most studies, a reading gap of more than 5 years by the time a student enters high school. That's what we are here today to fight, and that's what together we will overcome. Very briefly, I think there's a logo here on the screen which I cannot see, which shows the South Carolina First Steps logo, with which you're all familiar, reoriented with 3 significant boxes. The first represents Ready Family and Caregivers. It's up to the family and caregivers of a young child to create a safe and loving environment in which learning begins. There must also, however, be ready communities, and the communities are to assure access to resources. That also is a significant pillar of this I Can campaign. And then finally, ready schools and educators, prepared to meet an individual student's needs when he or she arrives in the classroom. That's why we're here today, is to kick off this awareness campaign and to promote the definition of school readiness, now historically endorsed by these collective groups and others. And with that, I'm pleased to turn the microphone over to my friend and a friend of all South Carolina's students, Mike Brennan.
Well, good morning. It is indeed an honor for me to be here with you today to represent TransformSC and to represent the State Department of Education, particularly Superintendent Spearman and the Board of Trustees of the State Department. As Ken alluded to, we developed a number of years ago the profile of the South Carolina graduate, and that has kind of been unanimously adopted across South Carolina by a number of organizations, by school boards and district superintendents, and now the General Assembly has even adopted it, and they're using that as kind of their guide to how they begin to prepare our public education system, our learning system, for the future of South Carolina. Now with the readiness component, we really have filled out what we need to do to make sure that we, number one, get children ready for kindergarten, for school, and then we help prepare them for college readiness, career readiness, and citizenship readiness. And I don't think that there's anything more important than us doing that in South Carolina. And I firmly believe that we can do this better than anybody else in the country. South Carolina can truly be a leader in this entire initiative. Let me tell you one more thing. As a business person, the business community has figured out that if we want to fill the jobs of the future, we've got to start at 0 to 4 to 5. Because if we don't get it done there, it just makes it that much more difficult down the road. So I applaud First Steps for taking this initiative. I applaud the organizations that are advocates for this school readiness. Ken, I want to thank you for your leadership. Susan, I want to thank you for a big chunk of your life dedicated to early childhood care and education, for the county executive directors, and for the board of trustees. Again, there may not be any more important work than the work being done here today. So thank you very much.
Good morning. The South Carolina Chamber of Commerce is pleased to be here today to support First Steps and the Department of Education with this exciting announcement profiling the South Carolina Ready Learner. As we at the Chamber meet with business leaders across the state, we have found that the most pressing issue facing South Carolina business community is workforce development and closing the skills gap. We also know that the child's education starts long before he or she enters into the classroom. That is why this year, the Chamber became a co-signer of the newly defined kindergarten readiness description and a supporter of the corresponding campaign, I Can. The announcement today represents a accumulation of the efforts of the South Carolina State Board of Education and the First Steps organizations to provide all of our students with the best chance of educational success from the outset. We applaud them and thank them for all of their efforts. The South Carolina Chamber of Commerce is pleased to be a part of this announcement and will continue to support the state's initiatives to educate our children, develop a sustainable and compatible workforce, and provide our businesses with the most talented workforce in the state of South Carolina and the country. Thank you.
I'm Bishop Herman Yost. I'm also excited and glad to be a part of this celebration of this kind of partnership from across the state and the community. I am a part of the Lutheran Church, but I also am a part of LARCUM, which is Lutheran, Anglicans, Roman Catholics, United Methodists. Together we make up 500,000 persons around the state involved in their congregations. And all of us as bishops together have supported a public education initiative, which includes having every church build partnerships with their schools. Mentoring, backpack, after school, summer activities, all kinds of things are being done to help support, encourage, and bless the development of every child in South Carolina, because every child matters and every child is made in the image of God. We've been working with the legislator, we've been attending hearings, and so we are proud to be lending our voice of I Can as part of the religious community. We don't represent the whole religious community, but as part of the religious community of this state, we are thankful to be a part of this. Thank you.
Good morning. It is certainly a great day for the children of South Carolina. I bring you greetings from Brooklyn Baptist Church as a member and also the director of the Child Development Center. On behalf of our pastor, Pastor Charles B. Jackson Sr., we are so excited that we, about 3 years ago, said that we can be a part of this partnership to make sure that we help with the Ready Child. We have already started by building the foundation at our Child Development Center. And we understand by having the Ready community and the Ready caregiver, along with the Ready community and the Ready school, we are providing what our children need. We are setting the foundation and bridging the gap for children ages 0 to 3. Monday through Friday is what we do, because we know that if we get those children ready as learners, like our business partners have already said, we are giving them the sustainability to thrive in a society that needs them. Our community needs them, our United States needs them, and so it is up to us to always do what we can. And so through the vision of Pastor Charles B. Jackson Sr., we are excited to be a part of this partnership. We are looking forward to many years to come to be in the partnership and doing all that we can to make sure that we have the Ready learner entering the Ready school. Thank you.
Good morning. It is quite a privilege to stand before you today and with this board of trustees. The leaders and the partners that are gathered here today are magnified across communities in our state, each standing together to say we can work together, public and private entities, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, child care teachers, staff, sports leaders. We all play a role in helping children be ready for success. It's a tough environment that we live in. The rigors of the K-12 system in this country are very significant. In South Carolina, like many states, we have a lot of history to overcome. We can only do that working together. Standing behind me are the leaders that make that happen every day. And in your community, there are leaders of all shapes and sizes doing the same thing every day, with or without recognition. And I'm asking each of you to get involved and to thank them for what they do every day to help our children be successful. It takes every one of us. This campaign is significant. It will be lasting. We know it will be transformative for the state of South Carolina. In 16 years, First Steps has been that organization to bring groups of people together on behalf of young children. We continue to be that organization, bringing more and more partners together to stand and lead on behalf of our youngest children who don't get to vote and who don't always have a voice. It is our job to help them be ready for school success. You will see as you drive away today and as you drive around your own communities, signs with this lovely logo. Please do not have an accident as you see them across the state. We have many that have appeared overnight. You will see many more in coming weeks. You will also see social media campaigns, electronic billboards. We are trying to have all of the venues available to us ready and focused on the issues facing young children in South Carolina, so that you can't possibly get around South Carolina without paying attention to this campaign. It is that important. It is an urgent call to action that I'm here to address today. It has been my privilege to be with First Steps for 16 years since it was passed into law. And it's also a great honor for me today to stand here and introduce you to our new interim executive director, Ms. Julia Ellen Davis. She will come before you to say welcome, and then we will conclude with remarks for the press available to you this afternoon.
Oh, welcome, and I look forward to standing in the shoes that have been established by Susan. This is going to be an awesome campaign that we have, and I'm excited about it. I saw my first sign a couple of days ago in North Charleston. I said, oh my goodness, we've started. And it's going to be a wonderful time for us to work together with our partners, especially with the Board of Education and DSS and DHEC, and also our local partnerships, as well as our business community, as we work towards helping our little ones get ready for school. It's going to be a great time for all of South Carolina. Thank you.
With that, we will conclude this conference. We'll begin shortly with luncheon and board meeting, but I want each one of us present today to take these two words emblazoned on this logo and convert it into our own personal, our own individual statement of what I can do to help young learners. At our recent summit a few weeks ago, I announced my I Can statement. I can give the gift of books. And for every grandparent, for every parent, for every business owner, for every neighborhood association, all of the community resources, all of the education resources, all of the family resources represented by this robust group behind me, each one of us and collectively saying, children ready. And so with that, thank you very much for being here today.